Shalom, shalom, Shabbat Adonai. Welcome to the Sixth Exodus program. Thank you for listening. The name of this segment is The Preserve of Black Hebrew Israelites and the Destruction of the Jewish Nation. The Book of Psalms. The Book of Psalms is a very hidden text, just like the Book of Job, and it's talking to us Black Hebrew Israelites that God has spread abroad the universe. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I can see it. So I'm telling you, the book of Psalms is the preservation of the black Hebrew Israelites and the attitude God wants us to have and to have trust and confidence in Him and how He's going to drive out the wicked out of the land, or not only just the land, but the earth. And tells us to be of good courage, that weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. So endure hardness. And your strength is going to be in your waiting. That's going to be your strength. Your strength is in waiting. How well you can wait. That's going to be your strength. Not in going out on the streets or having a Bible study or a class or anything like that. It's how well you can wait on the Lord. Now I want to tell you something of an endurance for you. Um, as kings and as princes and prince, a lot of times you end up sitting on a throne alone, and you have a contemplation on your people, on your land, and on your country. And that's what you have to understand. You have to see yourself in this role and wait. Sit and wait. Day by day, night by night, week by week, your strength is in waiting and not going to anyone or anybody, but your strength and your power is in waiting on the Lord. Wait, I say, wait upon the Lord, and He will renew your strength. Spend your days praying. Turn off that stupid television and turn off that silly music. Read your Bible and get away from the internet as much as possible. And keep yourself clean and keeping God's laws and reading God's laws and studying His laws. Concentrate yourself unto the Lord. Present your bodies a living sacrifice. Um, my mindset is this. I present myself as an altar, as a sacrifice unto the Lord. That's how I govern my mind, is I present myself as a sacrificial lamb, that I keep myself, my body, my temple clean so the Lord can dwell not only in my body, but in my residence. And if you keep that frame of mind, and that you keep yourself pure, because the Lord, He who show Himself to be righteous, God will show Himself to be righteous to that person. And if you show yourself to be holy, and you live a life that is holy unto God, He will treat you as such because he understands that when he looks at a man's heart and when he examines that person and the things that you desire not to do, you fashion them in your heart and you don't do them. He knows and he looks and he examines every man's heart. And your heart is like a beacon. He can see it as like a bright light unto him. But he can see all wickedness also. Even the abomination of foods. He can see those things in your vessels also. So don't partake of any abomination of foods. No matter how good it used to taste or what you remember it tastes like or what it was. Like I used to like to go um, to seafood restaurants. I really enjoy seafood. Lobster, lobster tail, shrimp, and it used to be my favorites. But I put all those things away. I used to like bacon. I remember before I got sick, I cooked some hawk balls for a friend of mine. She worked at the hospital where I used to work at, and she worked in the cafeteria. And I boiled. Let me tell you how I hooked them up. I boiled some hawk malt with vinegar and Coca-Cola. I boiled them jokers till the meat was falling off. After I boiled them boils down and the meat was falling off of them, I fried them in some onion and some green peppers, and then I took them out, put them in a pan, a plate, and I glazed them over with soy and sugar. Got some brown sugar and soy, and I mixed it in a little small bowl, and I glazed it over there. Man, when she bit into it, boy, it messed her head up. She could taste the tangy taste in it, the vinegar, and every bite she would taste the tangy taste of vinegar, and then she would taste the sugar and the soy sauce. Man, it just messed her head up. Her head was swollen, and she was my cousin. And well, I tell you, and there's another Filipino lady. She worked there, and man, I tell you, she really was crazy about me because I cooked so well. And she's like, "You cook for me every day, okay?" I said, "I don't know about that. I cannot cook every day, but I enjoy cooking." So I like the same thing. She like bitter melons, pancit, uh, a chicken adobo, pork adobo, eggplants, and halu halu. And so I can make all those things. I can make halu halu and pancit and um, and she gave me some bitter melon plants. And she asked me, "Do I know how to clean bitter melon plants?" I said, "Yeah, of course." I cut it and clean the seeds out and everything, and I boil them. And I put onions inside. Very delicious. Very bitter, but it's very good. And pancit is also very good. So I like to cook with pancit. And so I enjoy cooking. I really enjoy cooking for a long time. But I really learned a lot how to cook when I lived in China. My favorite dish in China is fansu. Fansu yeah. Fansu yeah is my favorite dish. Fansu yeah is sweet potato leaves. I like to cook fansu yeah and cook Coca-Cola chicken. It's one of my favorites. And fansu pie, which is sweet potato pie. When I lived in China, the student used to come to my house. One student came to my house at 7:30 in the morning looking for some fansu pie, sweet potato pie. In China, it's called fansu pie. So she came, and my students there, many of them call me Tiger. She said, Tiger, Tiger. She knocked on my window. Tiger, are you there? I'm hungry. Give me some fansu pie. And so I was like, man, this girl, why is she up so early at 7:30? And the day before, I always have students come to my house and I cook for them and have parties for them. Parties are not like parties or like in America. In China, parties are like eating, singing KTV. And so when I lived in China, I had microphones, a PA system, and the students used to come there and we sang all the songs that we download from QQ and listen to all the songs and then we mimic the singing. And in America, around the rest of the world, they call it karaoke, but in China, it's called KTV. And they have a lot of KTV restaurants in China. It's very popular, more popular than it is here. The whole families go out to KTV. But I enjoyed living in China a lot. But when I came to America, I knew a Filipino lady. She uh, she also had a garden of sweet potato leaves, and she brought me some to work, and I cooked them and I gave them to my mom. Oh man, my mom was like, "Oh son, how do you know about this?" She said, "We used to eat this when I was a little girl." My mom is deceased now, but I used to take care of my mom. Like I used to cook for her every Sunday. I went and cooked for her. Sunday morning, every Sunday, I would get up. And because my mom here got really sick with bone cancer, and she couldn't get up much anymore. But every Sunday, my brother and I would cook and would take my breakfast and lunch to my mom's house, mostly lunch. And man, I tell you, she really liked it. The last meal I cooked for my mom before she died, I steamed some fish. Uh, it was a red snapper, and I had got have a wok. Wok is like a curved frying pan, a half circle frying pan, and I put water in the base of it. I put chopsticks across it, and I put a oval shape um, plate over it, and I put my red snapper in it, and I left the head on. I didn't cut the head off, I had it cut and cleaned, and I stuffed that bad boy with ginger. It's about cut in like 2 inches long, and I stuffed it with green peppers. I'm sorry, green onions, and I overlaid it with soy sauce and oil, and I put the steamer on for 20 minutes, and I let that bad boy cook. The fish had turned completely white. I took that fish over to my mom's house. Oh man, my mom was like, "Oh," she's like, "Son, you keep cooking these meals for me." I like to cook for people, so I enjoy cooking. It's really fun for me. I like it. I like it a lot, and I cook for my brothers and sisters. Still, I cook something. I'm physically handicapped. I only have one arm, but I still can cook. I cook my potatoes. I peel my potatoes myself. Let me tell you how I peel my potatoes. I put a I put a chopstick on one end, and I put another chopstick on the other end, and I put the chopstick into my chest, and I put the other chopstick on the table, and I keep that chopstick on the table from rotating around when I try to cut it. So I will shave the potatoes with it pressed to my bosom, to my chest, and I will shave upward toward my chest until I get it fully shaved. As I shave my potatoes, and also other foods that I like to eat, I shave them. It's like when I make potato salad, and also sweet potato pie or sweet potatoes. I do the same thing with that. But I enjoy cooking. Cooking is a good passerby for me. Helps me to pass time by, and so I don't eat a full meal every day, and I have a bowl. I don't eat out of a plate. I eat out of a bowl, and my portions are very small. And like I eat oatmeal. This morning I had oatmeal and potatoes with carrots and onions. That's what I cooked this morning. Well, I cooked the carrots and potatoes and onions yesterday, but I had some leftovers. I ate that this morning in a bowl of oatmeal. That's what I had, and a cup of orange juice. That's what I had this morning. And but I enjoy cooking, and I really like fish a lot. Steam, bake, fried is okay, but I really like fish, especially steamed, boiled, and baked fish. Oh man, and tilapia fish. It's baked tilapia. It's something serious with some lemon squeeze on top of it. Oh man, that tilapia is something serious. Okay, I was talking about the book of Psalms and how the book of Psalms, how David, now David is king in Israel, but the words they came from God. God wrote the book of Psalms because the book of Psalms was written about David before David was born. Do you remember he said the volume, the volume of this book that is written about me. So the book of Psalms was written before David was even born. That's how God is. God is He is so powerful and so great that He can write about you. Like you, when I see you, I'm not going to tell you now, but when I see you, I'm going to tell you what He wrote about me. Well, I can tell you a little bit. There are many things He wrote about me in the Bible. Now, one of them is Isaiah 49. Isaiah 49 is me. And I think I told you in another segment how he how he told me. Well, I'll tell you again, so you don't have to worry about going to. I don't like being redundant, but I learned how to get over it. So hopefully you can forgive me. But when I was living in China, uh, I was living in Meizhou in Guangdong. It's about 5 hour bus ride from Hong Kong, and I was sleeping in my bed in room 1101, and I heard the words 49. I heard the words so clear, I almost fell out the bed, and I got up, and I was wondering, what does 49 mean? And why would God say to me 49? Why won't He talk to me and whoever is talking to me, why don't they say something to me that I can understand instead of just saying a number 49? So I got up and I was very inquisitive. What does 49 mean? So I went to the computer and I typed in the number 49, looked on the internet, and on the internet they came up 49 size shoes. Because in China they have metric system. So 49 shoes. In China I wear size 53 shoes. And so I was like, then they had 49 pants and 49 weight. A metric weight is like it's like almost 98 pounds. So I was like, no, that's not it. That coat size 49. So I said, no, that's not it. So I typed in 1949. And when I did that, it says China became a country October the 1, 1949. So I was like, Mao Zedong. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah, I'm in China. And China became a country a nation in 1949. Okay, I got it. Okay. I said, okay, guys, that's what you want me to know? So I went back to bed, but still my soul wasn't satisfied. So I got back up and I went to the Bible and I opened the Bible and I went to Genesis 49. So I read Genesis 49 and it talks about Jacob calling all his sons together. And he, of course, the distribution of his sons, and he said what is going to happen to them in the last days. So, and he said that he talked to Judah and said the scepter will not depart from Judah. So I didn't think nothing of it. And then I looked through all the books and see what books had 49. I looked through Jeremiah, I looked through Psalms, and I went through Isaiah. And I looked through Isaiah, and I saw how the Lord said that your walls are continually before me. And when I read that, Tears came to my eyes. And I said, thy walls are ever before me. And I said to myself, now, the only thing that is visible from heaven is the Great Wall of China. So I'm thinking to myself, God knows that I am in China. Of course, He knows everything, but what is the significance? So I um, I was left with being very hungry, and I want to know what that means. What does 49 mean? I didn't know until 7 years later. 7 years later, what 49 meant. It meant me, and it also meant China. I am 49 because God has called me to wake up the people of Israelites who are not yet gathered. But God said that I should be glorious in His sight, although the nations are not yet gathered. And I thought to myself, how can I gather people are spread it abroad? And I'm a paraplegic. I mean, I'm like, God smote me. And I was like in the hospital like 6 months, 5 months. I was in the hospital for 5 months. And they don't know what's wrong with me. But one doctor said it was a stroke. Another doctor said it was neuropathy. They don't know what it was. But I didn't have no control of any of my body functions. My arms, my legs, nothing. I was a worm. And I would have bowel movements. I couldn't control none of my trunk, none of my stomach movements, my bowel movements. I had no control of them. And um, urine, they took care of me like I was a baby. And I tell you, I was like really messed up. And when I finally came through, because I didn't know where I was, as far as if I was dead or alive, I didn't know. When I had came through, I was in the hospital, and I had lost a lot of weight. I think I was weighing like 238 pounds before I got sick. After I had, when I left the hospital, I was weighing 167 pounds. I became so small and very weak. Even today, I cannot walk well. I mean, I cannot stand up for a long period of time. My legs are still weak. I still, I have enough strength to walk to the bathroom and to get around, to go buy things that I need to buy, toiletries and things like that. But it's all right. Well, I'm glad the Lord smote me, because if the Lord didn't smoke me, uh, I would be still living in my sins. And what are my sins? My sins is I married a Chinese woman who was a Buddhist, and a Hebrew. And I didn't know I was a Hebrew. So for me it was all right because she lived a good life. She was a very, very good person, and I loved her, and I loved her family very much. And I enjoyed being with her, and I love her too. And but of course, this is not what God. So when God woke me up and told me I was a Hebrew, He was very wroth with me, and He he punished me severely. I mean, for a long time. And I mean, he was like kept punishing me. It's like every day I have a different affliction. Even when I got out the hospital, I have a different affliction, and I still don't have any control over my muscles. And like putting my foot down, I can't feel the earth underneath me. When I step, I cannot feel nothing underneath me. And my left side of my arm, I have been able to extend it for over 2 years now. And when I lay down, my left arm is around my neck. The tone and the resistance of my arm when I lay down, my arm draws up around my neck. And so all night I spend pushing my arm down, trying to hold it down so that, you know, I won't choke myself. And so the Lord's hand is very heavy upon me. And I also have to bear the infirmities of my people. God has put this on me too. This I know, according to Genesis chapter 3 and 15. And also my brothers and sisters' infirmities, uh, my Hebrew brothers and sisters. And the Lord told me to be a light unto the Gentiles. So this is who I am. And so I didn't realize who I was to the Lord. And see, and throughout the Bible, I find these letters and these words that God has given to me to let me know He know me, He know where I am, and He knows the condition that we're in. And He let me know the peace that I should be in and to encourage you so that you will not be weary, that that I should be a staff unto you, because He will not and did not appear unto anyone else to tell them what He is doing, but He showed me. Well, I don't know who God appeared to, if He did or if He didn't. I'll just say He let me know through His Word, through the written Word that God has already written, which is the Bible. Every day I read or listen to the Word of God and things that He had written through His servants. I can see it and I hear it and I know it is for me. And when I know and I understand these things, then I will let you know what thus says the Lord. So, and many hidden and dark things I know. Um, like the Lord showed me about the Catholic Church and the mentor and the Jewish people, who they are. And He said, those who say they're Jews are not Jews, but the synagogue of Satan. He lets me know who they are. So I know who they are. And the Lord is so personal. He said to me, and when the Lord say things like, I mean, I turn into water. I mean, I just like, it just evaporates. And I remember one time, the Lord, I was angry with the Lord. And and I was, I was fussing. I was fussing with the Lord because of His hand is so heavy on me. I mean, every day I wake up with new maladies, new inabilities every day, new problems every day. But I'm able to function. But every day I notice something different is wrong with me. And I said, Lord, like, stop punishing me. I repented of my sins. And I repent every day. And it's the same thing I repent of. I repent every day, but his hand is still strong upon me. So I don't know what else to do. I just bear it and just keep going. I don't pray for myself anymore. I just pray for Israel and God to redeem us. And believe it or not, I pray for the Idumeans that they will come into repentance. Because I know God is going to destroy them. And it's a shame that they're going to be destroyed, and they rather be destroyed than tell the truth about who they are. So God's going to drive them out of the land because we are the promised seed, and God is going to keep his oath to our forefathers. Now, God is God, so he is holy, and he's not a liar, and he's not a man. And so all the promises that God has made to David and to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, those promises he's going to keep. Now, the promises that he made to the Jewish people, now he did make a covenant with them, but the the way they are living in the land and how they have made such a terrible impression on the world through God's laws is horrendous. And that's their punishment for the covenant that they broke with God, like the covenant that our forefathers broke. So the one thing about the Lord is that you cannot represent God in his land and behave yourself terribly. You cannot. But I tell you this, I know these things, and I have been able to set up with God's help and with Hokmah's help. Hokmah is wisdom in Hebrew, and she appeared to me some years ago. And when she appeared to me, um, let me tell you a little bit about Hokmah, and then I'm going to end this segment. Um, Hokmah appeared to me, and I, in my sleep, I don't know, I guess some type of REM sleep, probably. I don't know what REM sleep it was, but I was partially asleep and partially awake. But nevertheless, I was cognitive. And when I saw her, she was hiding behind a veil. It's like a curtain, a long curtain. And she came out from behind the curtain and she said, "Come here, simple one." And so when I went toward her, she left. She like went behind the curtain, the veil, and she was gone. But when she left, my mouth was drooling. I wanted to know who this woman was. Who was this woman? And I could not see her face, but I know she was a woman. And she came back again, and she said to me, "Come here, simple one." So I went toward her quicker this time. I ran toward her, and she said to me, "Those who hover about the gates of God, God reveals to them secrets." And I say, "Okay, yeah, I like that." And I say, I will. And then she left. And she was coming back to me like this often. And every time she come back, she would say something to me and make my mouth water. And I'm like, man, what kind of woman is this? This is better than sex. And I really enjoyed what she was saying to me. So I would look forward to going to sleep, and I would look forward to getting a chance to see Hokama. That's what she told me her name was, Hokama. And so when I would sleep, go into REM sleep mode, or even sometimes if my feet was off the ground, um, she would speak to me, and she said things to me. I remember one time she said to me, she said, she said, "Come here, simple one." And I approached her, and she said, "What is that?" And I said, "That's the sun." And she said, "What is it for?" I said, it's for us to have light and to have heat, and give off, and the sun gives off energy." And I said, it's the daylight. It's give us a light during the day." And she said, "You say it well." And she said, "What is that?" And I looked, and it was the moon. And I said, "That is the moon." She said, "What is that for?" I said, "That is the night light. It keeps us light for us and give us light during the night." I said, "It watches over us at nighttime. It controls the uh, plant growth of plants, animals, the sea, the waters." I said, "It does a lot at night." And she said, "You said very well." And so I felt a little happy because, this woman complimented me and said, I said very well. So I was like, yeah. I was happy because I was smart. At least I thought I was at that time. So she said to me, "You are the moon." So I was like, "I'm the moon? What does that mean?" "Well, I'm the moon." "I don't know what that means. I'm the moon." I'm like, "I'm a man. How can I be a moon?" And so she would come and say many things to me that I don't know and don't understand. But, you know, like 15, 20 years later, I know what it means. I know who I am. But I'm not going to tell you now. You have to wait till we get to Israel. And then I will tell you. I'm not going to tell you who I am. The Most High will tell you who I am. I'm not going to tell you who I am. I'm your servant, and I'm your brother. That's who I am. And the Lord, and I left a website for you. So you're inquisitive, want to know who is Yeshurun. I left a website for you. But it's only going to make you puzzled. You won't be able to understand it. But I left it for you anyway. It's www dot one, the number one, Yeshurun, YESHURUN.com. That's my name. I have two names, Yeshurun and Uriel. My surname is Uriel. That's Uriel. That's my surname. I want to tell you about my surname, then I'm going to end this segment. Um, the Lord called me. He said, "Uriel." And I jumped up and I looked around the room to see who was in my house. And no one was there. I opened the door. I looked outside. And I thought to myself, my name ain't Uriah. My name Robert. And so um, I I didn't answer, but I wanted to know who was calling, who called me. Somehow I knew my name was Uriah, but my mama never called me that, and my family never. And I was like, hey, I got a history of knowing who I am. So I didn't answer. So about 3 years later, I think about three, somewhere between 3 and 5 years, yeah, the Lord called me again. After I had came back from China, He called me. He said, Uriah. At this time, I had a smartphone. So I grabbed my smartphone and I spoke the same word that I heard into my smartphone. So I pressed the speaker button and I repeated what I heard. And it said, Uriah, just like I heard. And you wouldn't believe this, but a picture of an angel came up. I dropped my phone and I said, what in the mess is this? And so I was real scared. I was very, very scared because everything had started coming back to me. Everything. When I was in China, the border sacrifices in China, the number 49, everything had started coming back, come to me. God had brought everything in my memory. He had put everything together. It's like putting a Lego together. Everything He had put everything that in my life He had put together for me to understand who I was. And so I know who I am, and I'm ashamed of the sins that I've done in my life, but I didn't know I was a Hebrew. I thought I was just a regular person. I didn't know who I was. But once I started living as a Hebrew and was keeping the covenant, that's when God, He started punishing me. But I don't mind. I know it for a good reason. I know it's for a good cause. And God, He ministers to me. He really does. In my affliction, He ministers to me. But I'm thankful for my affliction because had not the Lord afflicted me, I would have been lost in my sins. And I wouldn't be making these audio recordings. I wouldn't know anything about 6 Exodus or my name, Yeshua, or my name, Uriah. I wouldn't know, nor would I be building the nation of Israel for you. So I keep saying I'm going to end these segments, but well, I want to end them. So when I learned who I was, I made a covenant with God, and the covenant is called the covenant of Yeshurun. And the covenant of Yeshurun is the bread of shame. Yeah, you heard me. The bread of shame. You know why I call it the bread of shame? Because when I was in my sins, God fed me every day. He fed me every day when I worship idols and when I was sinning out in the world. And the Lord redeemed me still with all my infirmities. He still redeemed me. He still showed me kindness and love. And he redeemed this black boy. And so God is very terrible in how he smokes me. But I love him very much. I love my God very much. And I hate idols very bad. And I, for a while, I hated the Edomites when I learned he was my brother. I threw up. And I cried for a long time because the Jewish people is Cain who killed Abel. He's also Esau. He's Cain who went to the east of Eden and despised his race, even though his skin is very fair, like a white man, and but he hated his own people, his own family. He hated because because God's promises to us, and Esau has sworn vengeance on us ever since we've been in the world. From Cain, his hatred grew more and more. Every generation, his hatred grew, and he changed his name and changed his identity to keep us from knowing that we are brothers. And he didn't change his name. But the Lord has let me know who he is. And all the time he'll change his identity. Even when he became a part of the Italian government, the Hasmoneans. And he was a part of the death of Christ. He was also a part of the Roman the Roman government that came into that came into Jerusalem when Pompey, Caligula, and all those hordes came in through Jerusalem. The Idumeans, they worked with them because their skin was fair. Their skin was white, just like the Italians, and they they smote us and took us into slavery. But our brothers, the Idumeans, they sit back and watched them take us into slavery and possess the land and said it was theirs. So yeah, I know all these things from the beginning all the way up to now. I know their life. I know their trail and how they've hid themselves. They have even collaborated with some black people and told black people they are Khazarians and they come from the northern part of Russia, and they name Russia. In Russia they've named 7 rivers that all begins with the letter D to say that they are the lost tribe of Dan. So now they're trying to be the lost tribe of Dan. But I tell you, in the book of Revelation, there is no Dan. So they are not Dan either. So they are trying many things, and they have deceived the whole world. But the Lord has let me know these things so that I can tell you. But I think the Lord has told many people some things, but I think He told us different ones at different times so that how we can attack the devil from all different type of directions. And so he don't know what hit him. It's like the devil is being attacked by a bunch of bees. Now he claimed himself to be a bee, but he's being attacked by bees right now because we're hitting him from all different directions. He don't know what to do. And God's going to hit him with the big one when he drive them out of the land. You know, what I want to see is how God's going to redeem us and take us back into the land of our forefathers. That's what I want to see. And everything that I've asked for and I prayed for, I want to see. I want to see it in Jerusalem. I want to see all the football fields. I want to see all the basketball courts, all the basketball arenas. I want to see the underground city, the underground, the towers for the Airbus, the towers for the air flight vehicles, the apartment for AFV police with the landing pads on the side of the building, the Airbus towers, the 40 feet towers, the 25 feet towers, the uh, the government annex building, the 62 universities, the Jerusalem National Park and camping grounds in North Israel, Hippo Mountains, and the Nahal Reserve combined together, and Engav all combined, and all the homes where the ruined and desolate areas are, all the homes that I asked him to build, the mansions that are on the Sea of Galilee, and the mansions that I asked for in Jerusalem and in Bethlehem and Nazareth, the West Bank, and all the factories that I asked for. And I asked for cocoa, cocoa, chocolate, chocolate factory, uh, tire, tire factory, bike factory, tripart, tri-bike factory, and a caterpillar for underground. And the caterpillar is a machine. It looks like a caterpillar, but it's meant to put on carts and segways. No, segways are those like those scooters that you can stand up and then you can stand on and they'll move like a scooter, and carts that people can ride on from one end of Israel all the way to the edge, to the end, um, um, underground, and boats, cruise ship boats, to go from Elite Airport, to go through the Suez Canal, to go to the seaports, that people will come from all over the world to worship God on His holy mountain. And how are we going to be able to facilitate that need? I want to see those things done. I want to see it with my eyes. I also want to see all of us come together, all the nations come together in the Feast of Tabernacle, in the Feast of Booths. I want to see the people from China come there. I want to see the people from Angola and South Africa, the Americans and the Caribbeans, all of us come together. These things I want to see with my eyes, and as many as the Lord our God will call. I want to see. I want to see the football club houses in the areas I said they will be at. The football, the football stadiums. I counted them out. I said where they're gonna be. I said where the clubhouses are gonna be. I said where the baseball teams are gonna be. I said where the volleyball is going to be. I want to see them in the exact places where I say they're going to be. This is what I want to see. The baseball stadiums, the malls, everything where I said I want them to be. I want to see them because I've prayed and I asked God for it. And that the houses will be mansions. They're going to be so beautiful. And I asked for bicycle trails that are in the mountains, walking trails, camel trails, horse trails. I asked for a rodeo. I asked for a World Congress Center. I asked for a strip mall. And everything I've asked for, I've written it down in detail. And I pray and I ask God for it. So when we return to Israel, I record these things so you will know what I pray for and that God would do what He say He asked His servant to do for His people. He will confirm it and make it happen. And we are going to rejoice. We're going to rejoice and cry and fall out on the ground. And we're going to lay down on the ground. We're going to be so tired. Then we're going to get up and shout some more. And we'll fall out. And then we'll get up and shout some more. And we'll praise God. And we'll just lay down on the ground, all of us. And just be before God all day and not want to go home. To all the beautiful homes and mansions that God would have for us, we will not want to be in there, but want to be before the Lord. These things I have prayed for, and I have prayed and asked the Lord to forgive our people their sins, because He had told me what He knows. He told me what He knows about our people, sold their souls to the devil. He had told me that He's written all in His Word. He has told me that the things He have against me, because He let Jezebel, He let Jezebel, because I let Jezebel eat our people, eat things sacrificed unto idols. And He knows where Satan's seed is. And He said He's given them room to repent, but they would not. And He has told me of all the sins that He know I've done, in my hotness and my coldness. But He's told me some good things too. He's told me that my latter is better than my beginning. So when God first opened my eyes and showed me I was a Hebrew, I've gotten stronger, and I appreciate his encouragement. And even though I live alone, I don't feel I'm alone at all. In fact, my niece came to visit me a couple of days ago, and she said to me, "Uncle," she said, "what is that smell in your house?" And I said, "It's the Lord." She said, "It smells sweet." She said, "What you cooking sweet?" I said, "I'm not cooking anything." She said, "Did you cook anything?" I said, "Uh-uh." She said, "I keep smelling it." She said, "Yes, it smells good." He said, "Then it'll leave, and then it'll come back and smell the same smell again. It smell like kind of like caramel kind of smell, kind of sweet." And I said, "It's the Lord. He's in here." And she said, "Wow, it's strong." I said, "Yeah." I said, "He's like that. He comes in and He sups with me, and He's welcome, and my brothers are welcome. The angels, they are welcome. They can come here anytime." Oh, I got to tell you something very funny. And you're going to say, "Oh, that man right there is, he has been touched mentally." Well, I want to tell you something. I like to cook with ginger and garlic, for taste. And I used to buy a lot of buds of garlic. And so I only had one arm working, so I should chop it. I have a chopping knife. It's like a butcher's knife, like a chopper's butcher knife. It's this very a wide blade, and I used to smash my garlic with, and I cut it in half. But one night, one evening, I had to cook some some mixed vegetables. It was onions and bell peppers, and and when I came in the kitchen to get some drink of water that night, I looked, and the half of my garlic was gone. And I was like, man, what happened to my garlic? And I like, what happened to my garlic? And so I said, oh, my brothers, they got it. So I was like, guys like to eat garlic. So I was like, oh, okay, well, you're welcome. So I always leave garlic over there for them. But I don't use it. Every time I use a whole one or a lot, they don't take it. But if I use a half of one, a lot of times they'll take it. And so, very strange. I told my sister about it. She laughed at me. She said, you sure it's not your imagination? I said, oh, I'm sure. But at the same time, God lets me know too, because I could not be aware of it unless God showed it to me. So he wants me to know the presence, my presence, and who is in the house, and who is in the house, and who comes here to visit me and to be with me. And so, but I know I'm protected. And my rest, I remember one time reading in the Word of God where it says, and his house is glorious. But it's not talking about how beautiful my home is. I mean, I think I have a nice home. It's above average. But it's not talking about my furniture or my living standards or my sunroom. But it's talking about the presence of the Lord. That's what is glorious about this place. It's the presence of the Lord. I don't know, sometimes when you hear me recording, you see birds, they're always singing outside. From morning to night, they're singing all the time. Well, this thing went over an hour. Okay, thank you for listening. God bless you. Be encouraged. And read and listen to the book of Psalms and the book of Job. It tells you the destruction of the Jewish people and how it tells you how we ought to be reserved in the book of Psalms and the book of Job. Be encouraged. If we don't see you soon, we'll see you in the sky.